What's up, guys? First of all, I want to say it's been a while since my last video, and it's been even longer since the last retouch video that I've done. But I am back, and today I bring you Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. Now, this is a game that I have not touched since April of, 2018? So, it's been a while. Nonetheless, I am happy to bring you this video. Happy to play the game again, and I just wanted to talk about my feelings for this game now, not only now but also beforehand when it came out. So let's go ahead and get right into this. The very first thing that I want to talk about is the customization. This game had good customization options. It was pretty in-depth. You start off with 5 different body types. You could be short to tall. I, being the person that I am, just picked the standard size. But not only that, there is an abundance of different things that you could just mess around with. Head size, neck length, shoulder width if you really want to mess with your shoulders. There's just so much that you can do. Next, you got the faces. You got all these different options for faces. I think there's there's at least 20 different faces that you can use. Hairstyles, so many different hairstyles, from your male hairstyles to your female hairstyles. But of course, they always do a brother wrong. They don't add the dreadlocks. Why do you not add the dreadlocks? Bandai, I need you to understand that you have to add the dreadlocks. I don't even know if they had a fro in this game, and you're doing us brothers wrong, okay, Bandai? For the future, add the afro, add the dreadlocks. All right, now that we got that, you got eyebrows, which I never found myself messing around with, but hey, if you really want to mess with eyebrows, go ahead. Oh, one of my favorite parts about customizing was the fact that you can change the decal on your eyes, and not around your eyes or just on the face in general, but you can also change the color of your both eyes. So one color can be one eye can be one color, the other eye can be a completely different one. You can do a lot of stuff with the hair color as well. The voices, there's really only one that I liked when I first started this, and yeah. So that's just part of the character customization. The next part of the character customization is being able to customize what's essentially an AI in the game that becomes your partner in crime, basically. You can do everything that you could do with yourself, and then some. Guys, girls, you can change the chest size of if you have a female. I didn't touch that. I'm not that kind of guy. But the whole being able to customize not only one character in the game but 2 characters in the game is pretty cool. They did a good job there, and I really appreciate that in-depth customization. Okay, so another aspect of this game that I really enjoyed was the weapons and crafting system that's in the game. First of all, there are a lot of weapons, a tremendous amount of weapons, and they range from common to epic and legendary. I'm not sure which one is better in the game, actually. I never figured that one out. But not only could you find these just by killing enemies and searching chests, but you could also just level up. You could take a common and take it to a legendary or epic, and it's great. And then on top of that, you can give certain weapons, you can like boost their efficiency by giving them an extra like, I don't want to say attachments, but like basically it's like you add different like equipment. Like you can have it so one bullet heals a teammate, and yeah, it's really great to have that explosive shots, all that. On top of that, you can change outfits, and you can accessorize if you want to. If you don't like the way the accessory looks, you can hide it, but some of the accessories do give you extra benefits. Okay, getting into the gameplay of Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet. First of all, I have to say that I rather enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun playing this game when it first came out. There was just I found the story mode to be enticing, honestly, and it's like I just wanted to know what was gonna happen next, so I just kept playing. I don't know, it felt good most of the time. Like the weapons just feel good. Here I'm just remembering how to play, but yeah. So one of the things that I really liked was that the map areas were so vast and so big that you can get lost just exploring. You know what I mean? Like that, it's not exactly open world, but I mean, it feels like it. Just because you can just like, there are what, 4 or 5 different maps base game that you can just you can go to and run around and find treasure chests, and yeah, it's just fun. And I mean, it looks good. Like the graphics of the game look really good. With that being said, though, sometimes the maps just feel too big, and it's easy to get lost in the negative sense. And I'll touch more on that in a moment. But another positive of this game is you're not always just fighting one type of enemy. There are a variety of enemies, and they all have different weak points. They're weak to different things, and it's fun getting to know what to do with certain enemies. You know what I mean? And for me, like during my first playthrough, it made it challenging because you were finding different enemies. You're like, all right, where's the weak point on this one? What is it gonna do to me or my teammates, right? And that actually leads me to my third point, which we're gonna like kind of skip ahead to here. Is I love being challenged in games. Like games, I'll either play the hardest difficulty or right under the hardest difficulty. If there's something between normal and the hardest difficulty, I'll either play those two. And so that's one part of this game that I really enjoyed, and I think they did a good job on that, because they didn't make it like overwhelmingly challenging, but challenging enough to feel like you're being challenged. That sounds right. But back to the enemies. You saw those worms, you saw those like wasp things, you got scorpions here, then you have the robots. I find it pretty cool that you can basically fall into an ambush on some maps. They also have like NPC characters that will show up on the maps, which is really cool. They got these monster things as well, and yeah, the enemies they vary widely, so that's really cool. Now this game has quite a few positive things, but some of the things that I feel like the game did wrong is like when you're going through the maps and you're taking down enemies, basically not all the enemies, but some enemies will drop items, and there's auto pickup, which, you know, seems real cool at first, but what ends up happening is you're picking stuff up. Sometimes you don't even realize it, and you have all this extra stuff that you're probably never going to use, but you forget to sell it or throw it away when you're not on one of the maps doing the story. And so what ends up happening is your inventory gets full and you can no longer run. So while you're in the middle of doing the mission, you have to go through your inventory and decide what you want to throw away. And not only that, but like sometimes you have to throw away so much stuff just so you can run again, only to end up picking up more freaking items. Like it's horrible. I couldn't stand it. And yeah. So there's that point. That was done pretty badly. The next thing that I want to go back to, as I mentioned before, the map size as a bad thing, because basically you get lost, right? So they have like this, you can see the mini map at the left hand corner of the screen, but you can bring up a bigger map, and it's like, I don't remember if you can set a waypoint or not, but like figuring out like which way you're going can be difficult at times, and you're just like, all right, can I please just get to where I'm supposed to go? And sometimes it can take you 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes to get through the map and the enemies on the map just to get to where you're going. And by that time, you're just burned out, right? And you're just like, all right, I want to get this mission finished, but I'm like so tired, and I want to stop. But you finally get there after, let's say, 20 minutes. You're there. You're finally at the dungeon, which is the actual mission. And the dungeon then takes another 15, 20 minutes to get through, because you have to solve puzzles and fight enemies, and then you finally get to the boss. And on the first playthrough, you might not even be at the level it takes to efficiently take down the boss. So, I mean, a mission itself might actually end up taking an hour or more just to beat, and it's just you're burned out after just getting to the dungeon. You don't want to do anything. And then, so that brings me to a further point on this, is that they did not add any kind of like rest areas or quick saves, right? So imagine, right, you are you're trying to get to the dungeon. It takes you 20 minutes to get to the dungeon, and then you finally get to the dungeon. What ends up happening is you spend 10-15 minutes in that dungeon only to end up dying. You know what you have to do then? If you die, you have to go back to the map and rush back to the dungeon. That, one, is heartbreaking. Two, is frustrating. And you're already burned out from before. And so you might just turn off the game. I had a few times where I just turned off the game because I was so irritated. But just say, hey, you know, you get through the map, you get to the dungeon, just put the game on rest mode. Yeah, you can do that, but that still doesn't mean you're not going to die. So yeah, but then okay, you get through the dungeon, right? Once you get through the dungeon, that doesn't mean that the mission is over. You can go through a dungeon, beat the boss, come out, you're back on the map, and then you have to do another mission. I mean, it's not, sometimes it's not just one thing. So then you have to go somewhere else, but then you die in the process, and you're just like, F this. I'm done. You know what I mean? So they did pretty wrong on that. In my opinion, had they added some kind of safety net for players, it would have made it an even better game. So yeah, like, I mean, the fact that there's none of that doesn't make it a bad game. It's still enjoyable. Yeah. So the next point I would like to bring up is the AI. Now, the good thing about the AI is you can give them directives. You can make them do certain things. You can make them fall back. You can make them support. You can do a lot of that, which is really good. It's extremely helpful. I think they did a great job on that. However, the thing is, when you're in a fight, a lot of the times you might forget that is an option. So you let the AI do whatever they want to do, and a lot of the times they just do not help. Okay, they go down multiple times over. They can pick each other up, but when they pick each other up, a lot of times that the second one just goes down. So it gets really frustrating to have to do things yourself. You have to watch their health and heal them when their health is low. You're basically babysitting. And that is extremely frustrating. But now we're about to touch up on the PvP aspect of this game. And what would a Bandai game be? What would a Bandai game be without bad online play? I mean, it's pretty bad. F that. Alright, I don't even think I'm gonna get into this. Like, so this game does not have dedicated servers, which in my view is a big problem. One, it makes it hard to find matches. So honestly, you're more likely to get matches if you host. Hosting is a huge, like, it's a pain in the rear end to host in this game. The other thing is that when you do find a room, what happens is you get players that are like this guy, level 300. You get players that are really high level because they put way too much time into the game. If I do say so myself. And so what happens is the host of the room a lot of the times will stack teams. So one team has all high levels and the other team has low levels, and you have no chance of winning. And it's a real pain for this game. Like I said, what would a Bandai game be without bad online play? I don't care what the game is. The online play is just bad. Always has been. And I hope that one day Bandai will get it right. If you're going to do games like this with PvP, you have to have dedicated servers. Do not like rooms for these games. It just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work. Sometimes it just takes too long to find players. Sometimes you just can't find players. And if you have dedicated servers, you can just fill up empty lobbies. Easy. But no, Bandai cannot do that. They cannot get it right. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and skip this one because I'm not joining this lobby. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this retouch. Actually, before I go, I should say my final thoughts on the game. I think the game is fun. It has its ups and downs, but it's fun for like the first 2, maybe 3 weeks that you have the game. You're trying to get through the story. It just keeps you playing because of how big the areas are and how much you can explore in those areas. And I think that giving players room to do that is really good. It really is. Customization is nice. I know they forgot my dreadlocks, but it's nice. It's nice. Customization is nice. The vast equipment modifications that you can do is nice. It really gives a good feeling to the game to be able to be like, oh, I really like this weapon. I'm going to upgrade it. I'm going to do this and that. I'm going to add these this skill set for this weapon. It's really nice to be able to do all that. It makes the game really fun. But obviously, the fact that the areas are so big can sometimes just be overwhelming. It can be tiring, and you just be like, when is it going to end? I just want this mission to end so I can stop playing. And because of that, like I said before, there needs to be there should have been quick save points in the game in these areas so that you can just save and rest. Especially if something goes wrong and you end up dying, you have to start all the way over, and it's awful. I remember being frustrated with that when this game first came out. I hated it so much. PvP, like every Bandai game, sucks. But the game is fun, guys. The game is fun. I would have recommended it when it first came out, but now it's like if you really like Sword Art Online, go ahead, buy it, try it if you want. But I say you could just never play this game. You won't be missing anything. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, guys, I will